Here are 101 verses on forgiveness and forgiving. His is a critically important subject. Forgiven people should be forgiving people. When you really understand God's love, you will be able to forgive others. Because of His forgiveness, if you can't forgive others, your prayers will be hindered. Please read and meditate on these verses. Suppose you find 50 righteous people living there in the city, will you still sweep it away and not spare it for their sakes? Genesis 18:24, and the Lord replied, If I find 50 righteous people in Sodom, I will spare the entire city for their sake. Genesis 18:26, and be sure to say, Look, your servant Jacob is right behind us. Jacob thought, I will try to appease him by sending gifts ahead of me. When I see him in person, perhaps he will be friendly to me. Genesis 32:20. To say to you, please forgive your brothers for the great wrong they did to you, for their sin in treating you so cruelly. So we, the servants of the God of your father, beg you to forgive our sin. When Joseph received the message, he broke down and wept. Genesis 57. Forgive my sin, just this once, and plead with the Lord your God to take away this death from me. Exodus 10. Pay close attention to him, and obey his instructions. Do not rebel against him, for he is my representative, and he will not forgive your rebellion. Moses intercedes for Israel. The next day Moses said to the people, You have committed a terrible sin, but I will go back up to the Lord on the mountain. Perhaps I will be able to obtain forgiveness for your sin. Exodus 32:30. So Moses returned to the Lord and said, Oh, what a terrible sin these people have committed. They have made gods of gold for themselves. Exodus 32:31. But now, if you will only forgive their sin, but if not, erase my name from the record you have written. Exodus. The Lord passed in front of Moses, calling out, Yahweh, the Lord, the God of compassion and mercy. I am slow to anger and filled with unfailing love and faithfulness. I lavish unfailing love to 1,000 generations. I forgive iniquity, rebellion, but I do not excuse the guilty. I lay the sins of the parents upon their children and grandchildren. The entire family is affected, even children in the 3rd and 4th generations. Exodus 34. And he said, O Lord, if it is true that I have found favor with you, then please travel with us. Yes, this is a stubborn and rebellious people, but please forgive our iniquity and our sins. Claim us as your own special possession. Exodus 34:9. Just as he does with the bull offered as a sin offering for the high priest. Through this process, the priest will purify the people, making them right with the Lord, and they will be forgiven. Leviticus. Then he must burn all the goat's fat on the altar, just as he does with the peace offering. Through this process, the priest will purify the leader from his sin, making him right with the Lord, and he will be forgiven.